Good morning. Ms Nicole is back to read you another read aloud this morning. Today's read aloud, Little Leaders, Bold Women in Black History by Vashti Harrison. So this book is amazing, right? So here's the back of it. I'll show you the back of it. All right. Meet the little leaders. They're brave, they're bold, they change the world, right? And we continue to do so. We continue to change the world. And I can't wait to hear and read about what you guys will be doing, right? Because I know that there'll be some things that are going to be written about your generation. A lot of these people are older, some of them are alive, some of them have passed on. But this book has many female leaders, black female leaders, that have changed and influenced history and the way that we do things in the world, right? So here's some of the women that are in here. So like Ruby Bridges, Octavia Butler, just to name a few, right? Nina Simone, right? There's Mary Bowser, Dominique Dawes, Oprah Winfrey, Phyllis Wheatley, right? All these women, I can't name them all. We're going to read them all though eventually. So here they go. Today, though, I brought you guys out here. I know that you notice there's something different because I don't normally read out here. This is my living room. I normally read in my room. That's all the stuff that you see. But today, I wanted to read about Ida B. Wells. Ida B. Wells. Can you say her name? Ida B. Wells. That's how we spell it. Ida B. Wells. You can learn a lot about her. If you want to learn more about her and other people, you can go to blackpast.org. Black spelled just like the color, just like the people, right? Blackpast, PAST.org, blackpast.org. And you can find so many articles. You can do a lot of research. You can find images, videos, or links to, other media. You can find all that on blackpast.org if you want to read more about her after we're done today, okay? But I wanted to show you something. Excuse the lights that they're reflecting. That's what you see right there. It's like a reflection. But I have this picture here in my living room. Ida B. Wells. My father brought this back from a museum that he was working in. He was working in a museum, and he brought back this huge, it was huge. The frame now is, it's bigger than most 5-year-olds. It's huge, right? It's super tall, and it's wide, right? So wide meaning like from here to here. We think about how wide something is. We think like, wow, is a building, or is the car or the bottle, is it wide or skinny, or is it tall or short? So we're talking about the width. We're talking about how wide it is. Is it skinny or not, right? And then the height. We're talking about how tall it is. It was so big. It was so hard to get it home for my dad, but he got it to me, and then I had to figure out some way to get it framed. So long story short, I had to cut some of the picture off without cutting any of Ida. And she reminds us, you know. And so that word right there, lynching, that's a lot of layers in um, in history, particularly American history, right? Because we see things and we hear things all the time about people being harmed, people being shot, people being murdered, by police, by other people. Recently, there was the case about Ahmaud Arbery, right, who was hunted down and murdered, and this is what we call lynched, right? And so, what Ida B. Wells was really advocating for, as we will read about in the book, was about this word lynching, and it has to do with killing a person, and usually because they're black, specifically because they're a black person. Okay. So these are all the pictures in my living room if you're curious. There's me and my kids, and there's my son and my daughter at different ages. I have two kids. My son's 13. He's bigger than me now. He's bigger than me. I have to look up to him. And my daughter, she's 8. She they're enjoying being home, but they're also missing their friends, as I know you are too. Okay. Let's learn some more about Ida B. Wells. And again, don't forget, subscribe to Ms. Nicole's channel. And when you have time, make sure to check out theblackpast.org. It was started by a great teacher of mine, my own teacher, created that website, and it's amazing. So check it out with your siblings, check it out with your parents, check it out with your kids, whoever's watching this. It's a great website and a great just a great resource for us to have information on people that we have heard of and also people we've never heard of. Okay, so Ida B. Wells. Ida B. Wells, born 1862, died 1931, journalist, activist. Ida was a natural born activist. Wherever she saw injustice, she stood up against it. She was born a slave in Mississippi, but emancipation, can we say that word? Emancipation came to the South when she was still a child, and this meant she had the opportunity to get an education. After college, she worked as a teacher but lost her job for criticizing the poor conditions of the black segregated schools. In 1884, 71 years before Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat on a bus in Montgomery, Alabama, Ida refused to leave her seat in the women's car on a train in Memphis, Tennessee. She had purchased a first-class ticket but was asked to leave and join the African American car. Ida did not go quietly. She filed a lawsuit against the railroad and eventually won her case. There was no rule that said black women could not ride in the women's car. However, segregation legislation was soon implemented in Tennessee, and Ida received no further justice in the matter. 3 years later, her case was overturned. She took her frustrations and wrote an article in the newspaper under the name Iola, and later became known as Iola, Princess of the Press. Journalism became her outlet. She was the owner and editor of the Memphis Free Speech and Headlight, and later the Free Speech. She took a major stance against lynching and faced death threats for her words. In 1898, she led a huge anti-lynching campaign all the way to the White House. Ida knew the power of words and knowledge and continued to use her voice to stand up for what was right. Mhm. This was just a short introduction to Ida B. Wells. There's so much more to learn about her. Okay. This one right here, if you weren't able to see the little print here, this shows her. What is that supposed to be a news? Is that supposed to be a newspaper? What do you think? Is that supposed to be a newspaper? Okay. Well, this one says Iola, Princess of the Press, and then there's blank lines. Maybe that was for writing. And then this one says the way to right wrongs is to turn the light of truth upon them. I wonder who they're talking about when they say them. That's my wondering. The way to right wrongs is to turn the light of truth upon them. Okay. And then there's some signs here. Stop lynching now. Right? In lynching. Stop lynching now. Right? Stop killing us. That's what we're saying now. Right? So again, This book has all types of women. The next one, Zora Neale Hurston on the next page. But I hope you guys enjoy this. Okay, this read aloud. If you want to read this book, here it is one more time. And again, check out blackpast.org, okay? And remember, Ida B. Wells and everything that she did for the community, the activism that she did, right, to let folks know what was happening. When they say that she started her own press, the press is another word for books or newspapers. It's how we read things. So when we talk about the press, we're talking about something physically being pressed or printed onto paper so we can then read it as citizens, right? So think about how can you, if you see something that's happening, how can you, right? What can you do? What can you do as as a community member to support other people? What can you do to let other people know this injustice is happening to yourself or to other people, right? And what can you do, right? I think there's many ways that you can help and support people and you can advocate, right? So remember, in peace and solidarity, you guys have a blessed day.